Hey, I'm Marc Stevens. Welcome to the No State Project channel. Glad to be, I'm going to be able to do more frequent videos, and there might actually be a live call-in show again coming shortly, but hopefully anyone who's familiar with the No State Project broadcast knows it was rife with tech issues. But that's what I got in the works. So I will definitely post a video and let everyone know when that is a go. I want to address a stupid comment here that is kind of since 2017 or so I've gotten, and anybody who's a regular listener and follower of the No State Project, I was always been an outspoken critic of scumbag politicians. It didn't matter if they were Republican or Democrat. That wasn't really an issue for me. I just don't, you know, to me, I don't make much, there's not much of a difference. Although the differences have really accelerated in the last few years, but it's this idea I'm not an outspoken or I'm not an anarchist anymore that I have this. We'll go to we'll pull that comment out. It's on this particular video. This is why I want to. It just came in not too long ago. It's also I want to just point out here. I have about 18,000.7 subscribers. Somebody left a comment. I'm not going to go into the history to check that out. Somebody left a comment that I was when I wasn't talking about Trump, and I was talking just about court stuff, that I had 140,000 subscribers, and that just, you know, when you're gonna leave a comment, I know it's YouTube, but if you're gonna leave a comment, at least know what you're talking about somewhat. I have never had more than 19,000 subscribers. In fact, 18.7 is really the limit, the max that I've had the whole time I've done YouTube. And that's probably because I had to restart the channel because my entire channel was deleted a few years into doing it. I had about 7,000 or 8,000 subscribers, and I lost the entire channel. So I never had 140,000 subscribers. If you would like to help me get there, hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, great, because I'm going to be doing a lot more frequent videos. But no, I just want to set the record straight. And I don't think that anybody would have more than half a brain in their head that would ever argue that this channel ever had so many subscribers. So no. And yes, people have unsubscribed, but there's still more people subscribing. So that's just the nature of it. So it's this particular one here. I loved Marc Stevens in 2010 when he was still an outspoken anarchist. I got to point out, too, there was somebody that actually posted recently that it's like they never listened to the show at all and said, why am I faking a New York accent? I've been accused of a lot of stupid things, but faking a New York accent, only 2 or 3 people, you know, in 15 years or so have ever accused me of faking a New York accent. Why would I fake a New York accent? It's like I'm intentionally trying to sound stupider than I am. I don't mean any offense to that. I grew up on Long Island, so this is the way I talk. I used to cover it up because I used to do a lot of other radio shows, and I thought it was a better fit that I didn't sound so, you know. But I am from Long Island. This is the way we talk from Long Island.
Long Island.
So, yeah. I love Marc Stevens. Get back to this actual post that I'm talking to. It's the whole purpose of the video. I love Marc Stevens in 2010 when he was still an outspoken anarchist and supporter of the free market. Well, the fact that OPEC, which is supposed to be part of the free market, just announced yesterday that they are going to restrict oil production 2%, driving up oil. Yeah, the fact that rent is out of control. Oh yeah, great. Kudos to the free market for making people homeless and creating and throwing us into a worldwide depression. But yeah, keep championing the free market as if there was such a thing. Then he caught TDS. Trump derangement syndrome, became another left-leaning Republican basher. I miss you. I've always bashed Republicans. I've always bashed Democrats. I look at the actions, not the political affiliation, because I am still to this day an anarchist. And if you'd like to get these, actually these shirts, I'm making these shirts. If you would like to support the channel so I can continue doing more and more frequent shows and maybe do a live broadcast again, you can look in the description and you can get a a dozen of these shirts that you can give out. Well, I'm still an outspoken anarchist, but I wanted to address this stupid nonsense because this goes back to 20 years ago when Fox News, someone on Fox News, coined the phrase Bush derangement syndrome. And see, when you're part of a cult,
God bless the United States. Thank you.
You don't allow and you don't want to hear anything negative about the dear leader. And if you are a Trump follower, chances are you are in a cult. And that's why we have these stupid things called Trump derangement syndrome, because even when you're leveling legitimate criticism against somebody who's one of the most vile politicians to ever walk the face of the earth, his body count is in the hundreds of thousands because downplaying a worldwide pandemic.
The virus. They're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
I just saw this, and it reminded me of the same Trump supporters when you mention a mask. So you mention having to wear a mask for other people's safety, okay? And then you get mask derangement syndrome. And your typical Trump-supporting MAGA head will lose their friggin' minds when you talk about a mask. You go absolutely ballistic. Can't take any. So, that's how stupid you sound when you use the phrase Trump derangement syndrome. All you're doing is just saying, I'm in a cult. I can't listen to anything disparaging about the dear leader. Even when so I'm not going to go through, this is not necessarily about Trump. It's more about the people, the MAGA heads who follow him. So if somebody came out against the mask, whether you're Trump or not, and say, oh, you just have mask derangement syndrome. It's just a way of saying, Bafangul, I don't have a counter argument. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just like when critics label me a sovereign citizen. All they are saying is that they're trying to discredit my work, and they don't have a counter argument. I'll do another video addressing that stuff. That's all you get here. I'm still an outspoken anarchist, so I will talk about that for a few minutes here. Nothing has changed as far as my ethical beliefs, and that's why I'm an anarchist, because anarchy is no rulers. It's a rejection of the ideology that there has to be leaders, that there has to be a violent institution that controls society, that has a violently installed and maintained hierarchy. I reject that. On ethical principles, it is wrong to force your will on other people, even if you're saying that's for their own good. So I'm just as outspoken about that. I always talk about anarchy. Now I wear it. And again, in the description, if you'd like to get a few dozen of these awesome shirts made right here in Mesa, Arizona, then go in the description, you can get that. So if you're going to be a Trump supporter, at least have some shred of logic and rational thought. If somebody makes criticism about Donald Trump, your dear leader, then ask them why. Ask them for the evidence. What evidence do you have? Instead of these stupid pejoratives like Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, that's just, come on, Wide Hotep, whatever. You guys, the whole channel and everything I did, if you like the material, it was all based on logic. It wasn't based on following a cult leader. And I'll say this. If somebody was legitimately a billionaire, why Why would they be constantly fundraising? That's all you need to know. To me, those are the only, and it's not fake news that he's fundraising. It's not fake news. That he does that. In fact, they raised over $250 million, which there's public records to show this, for his court cases, his legal, to fight the stolen election. If he is somebody who's so patriotic, who has more money he could spend in 100 lifetimes, and he loves America so much, and he's the only one who can save it, why would he fundraise and not just pay for it himself? It's ridiculous. So you're going to throw some criticism. That is always cool, but please have a counter argument. Use some logic. Make it, use some critical analysis and thought. Just saying Trump derangement syndrome, all you're doing is saying, Vafangul, I don't have an argument, but I don't like that you're criticizing the dear leader. That's all you're doing. It's really embarrassing. So again, criticism, always welcome. But at least have a valid argument. Have a legitimate, rational argument, or counter-argument in this case. Don't just throw out these stupid platitudes. So that's all for this particular video. I will be doing more videos more frequently, and I am going to do what I can to get to a call-in show. I probably will start some live streams, and I'll post about that. So if I can take calls, then we can just I can answer questions on the chat. But if you have any ideas or you have any questions and topics that you want me to talk about on a live stream, leave them in the comments below, and I will get to them. Again, thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more shows.